It's Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined by Stephen Llanusa. He is the president of the Claremont Unified School District, also a fifth grade teacher. So education is in your blood, your genes. And I want to speak with you about Common Core. You're living it in both sides of your brain as a teacher and as the president of the school district. How is the transition to Common Core going? How is it doing?
Well, Common Core expects a lot
from
teachers, students, and families. And I'm in a position to see how it's affected in the classroom and how it's implemented in the boardroom. So for the District of Claremont, we have a lot of teachers on assignments being brought in to help develop the curriculum. We have a really good instructional assistant superintendent, Dr. Bonnie Bell, and a new and extremely effective superintendent, Dr. Jim Elsasser.
I got to ask you about the children, though, because, and now I'm talking to you as the fifth grade teacher, but be that as it may, you know, No Child Left Behind teaching was very, very specific. It was a very kind of drill and kill type of approach, which isn't necessarily bad, even though that term sounds pejorative. Common Core is the antithesis of that. So if you're a child who's in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, you've been doing No Child Left Behind learning all this time, all of a sudden, it's going to be a major shift in how you're taught. And the standardized testing is going to be different. How do you work with these kids? You know, the kids that are kindergarten, they're fine. The kids that are in 11th grade, they'll be done anyway. How do you work with that middle group?
Well, the assessment is the biggest change.
Right.
And we have a few years of implementation transition.
Right.
So we'll take a practice test this year.
Right.
We'll take a benchmark test next year. And then it's the third year when the test scores will actually count to measure growth. So we have time for students to practice the new test and to transition into that assessment.
What's scary for many, including me as a parent of children around this age range, is that the SAT and the ACT, they're not connected to the Common Core standards. They say that they're looking to adjust, but how is that going to happen? And when is that going to happen? And what about for the kids that are heading toward SAT sooner rather than later?
Common Core is a set of standards that were adopted by a vast majority of the states.
Yes,
I believe
45.
Okay.
Yep.
So ACT and SAT would be well advised to make sure that their tests reflect what the vast majority of the country is learning.
Agree, but you know, not everyone takes advisement well, and so it's a scary time for parents, for teachers, for board members. So what do you do to keep these kids prepared and on track, other than the obvious?
Well, something a lot of people don't realize is because the assessment is so different, that test-taking strategies that worked in the past, such as eliminate obviously wrong answers to increase your odds on guessing the right one, aren't going to work on questions that are fill in the blanks.
Right.
So students who have spent a great deal under No Child Left Behind, preparing for a test that was multiple choice, will have to be retrained or re-educated to take questions, to go into the deeper level, read the text with a deeper understanding, and actually understand and comprehend and show what they know.
And as you suggested, the testing is so different now, it will be adaptive. So if you get question 1 right, you'll go to a harder question. If you get it wrong, you'll go to an easier question. At the same time, I want to get a sense from you. So basically what Common Core is doing is you're learning more about lesser subjects. Whereas No Child Left Behind, you were learning less about a lot of subjects. What do you think about that trade-off?
Well, the grammarian in me will have to correct you.
Please.
We are learning more about fewer
Thank you, sir.
topics, but we're learning them in greater depth. For example, we're teaching division of decimals at the 5th grade, and I've always taught it for the past 20 years, but with Common Core, we spend enough time on it that students get to understand when you hop the decimal, you're actually making a new problem that will have the same answer.
I wish you were my 5th grade teacher. There's no doubt about that. His name is Stephen Llanusa. He is president of the Claremont Unified School District. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Time Warner Cable's local edition.